Welcome in, everybody. I'm Joey. So I've got some more Memefest for you, where death and destruction is most certainly imminent. But before that, take a look at the rear end of this car. It is the Nicki Minaj of motor vehicles, if I do say so myself. It's absolutely gigantic. Anyways, you guys seem to like the last video on Motorfest, so I figured let's give it another go and see what happens. So through turn one, everything seems okay, and then into the chicane, take a look at the scenes of absolute devastation. Please, I beg of you, text, I don't know what a racing line is, to 6969 to donate 5 brain cells. The good Lord knows I'm gonna need them all, because I think I've lost everything. And, well, I could very well go into negative brain cell territory because we're coming up on a couple of Civics here. Take a look at the one on the left side who just ends his life in a storefront. Well done, sir. I'll tell you what, though, if that guy's goal was to ruin his own race, he might be the best one out here. And now, genius number 1 and 2, ruining, absolutely obliterating a small business from the face of the earth. A little further up the highway, minding my own business, a Civic out of nowhere, a BMW up the inside as well, and then a Civic from behind pushes me into the BMW, lifting it off the ground. I think we know which type of car we need to look out for when it comes to these street tier 1 races. Speaking of, and for those of you that don't know, this is the grand race, so each third of the race will be spent in a different car, and this guy up ahead might need a new one quicker because he just ate a palm tree, or tried. Not a good idea when the trees are seemingly made of steel, but we get the move done on the Porsche, and it looks like third place was off in the sand as well, so we got a couple more positions out of it, and then if we can get around the Ferrari, up into a podium position. The Bugatti putting in some work, starting to make that $2 million price tag finally pay off, but I think Ubisoft does a pretty good job of making sure all the cars are balanced as I send the car into the wall. But I like to switch between the Bugatti and the Porsche 918 Spyder. I think they're both really solid options for the hypercar division. And now we move forward, 86% through the race. We're at the rally raid section of it. We got past the Ford nice and easy with a good move, but the BMW with silly string coming out of its ass is now up onto us. And I'm going defensive, taking that corner very narrow, trying to force the BMW around the outside, which I don't do for this second hairpin turn. The BMW up the space on the inside that I should have been covering off. He does it again on this one, rubbing and racing in full effect. And he ends up leaving me in the damn dust, which will put me in a second place to end the race. At which point I am mocked by this classy gentleman with a silent concert. And here comes the finisher. Fart joke! You're welcome, people. Okay, next race, we're back in the 918 Spyder. Only good things can happen when we're in the Porsche, so let's see what happens here. No turns to be seen yet, but apparently air traffic control just gave this guy clearance for liftoff, or takeoff, whatever you want to call it. He might be in a space shuttle, I don't know. But if we take a closer look, he clearly comes out of the ground? So clearly the aliens are building a base underneath us and shooting vehicles up through the ground. I got a little jealous here, so I decided I want to go flying too. Totally missed the checkpoint, and once we respawn, George of the Jungle makes another appearance and bounces right off a tree. What a legend. We've settled into 21st place though. Let's see if we can get back to the front of the pack. A couple of Porsches having a little argument up front, and they're gonna run, well, one of them's gonna run into the grass, and then it looks like Barbie and another 918 are having a bit of an argument as well, as the Porsche gets flung into the grass, and then Barbie comes back across with a thumbs up and smashes him straight into the wall. Oh, but it doesn't end there. Coming onto the bridge, one guy gets clipped at the barrier, and then this concept car up front almost flies over off the bridge into the ravine below. Luckily, he stayed on track, and somehow just from avoiding other people's stupidity, we've gained 10 places, now 11. Make that 12, or what is that, 13 now? Oh my god, 14. 14. Okay, back down to 13. I could probably just commentate over this entire video by looking at the rankings the whole time in the top right. Skipping forward a bit to the rally section of the race, just over 40% through the entire thing, and well, I just got passed by a couple of cars, and then it looks like we've got an Escalade or a Tahoe up front who I'm gonna go for a move on and then expertly hit a stationary vehicle, all the F1 teams are seriously considering sending me a contract right now. Eventually, I did catch back up to the enforcement Escalade. Why they put that in here, I don't know. The devs did it for the memes, that's why they did it. But we did catch back up to it, and now we're switching over into the hypercar, nope, not the hypercar, the Street Tier 2. Now the Lamborghini up front is going to use a strategy I have yet to see until now. He's going to slam the wall, hit the brakes, hit me, and then just take off. What a douchebag. But race strategists from around the world are just taking notes right now. They're also taking notes about that epic wall grind that I just did, and then ultimately coming across the line to finish this one in 4th place. Switching it up now into the monster trucks, and I thought, if I use the school bus monster truck, maybe people will be less likely to crash into me. You know, they'll be thinking of the children and try to stay away from me. But, oh boy, was that not the case. Right up front here, great sign that everyone's going to race clean as this guy just bouncing off a tree. And then as we continue to go up the incline into the hairpin turn, just pray for the children. Pray for them, because it's just going to become an absolute mess. We just get stuck here as everyone tries to file their way through the absolute mess that is this hairpin turn in the monster trucks. Somebody's got to take these guys back to school and teach them how to walk in a damn single file line, because the same thing happened last race, or last episode rather, where we all got stuck at that hairpin turn and just ended up in a train formation down the entire hill. Coming into the hairpin at the bottom, I elect to Ross Chastain wall ride this one and pretty amazingly gain a couple of places out of it. So that is apparently the meta in the monster trucks on these small courses. Just hit the wall and hope for the best. That guy did not get the best. He got a tree, and I got a position out of it, but things don't quite look as up for me after this turn here. I try to wall grind it again and just completely ends up slowing me down. I should have cut that corner and gained quite a bit of time that way, but I'm not smart. Moving forward to the rally bit, about halfway through the race, sitting in 14th place, and there's a nice big pack of us here, so definitely some places to be made. Grabbing one easy peasy on the straight, up the hill, over the crest of the jump, down, and catching up to the group in front. Over the second jump and into the right-hand turn, using that wall to my advantage, getting a nice little boost from behind, and then cutting the track into the next checkpoint, and then making a mistake going over the overhanging rock, somehow maintaining a bit of stability over the next jump and on to the beach. That is by far one of my favorite jumps in this game. I've done it a million times and it has yet to get old. I think the visuals are pretty damn nice on that one. We've got a jump coming up, and I swear I see jumps in this game, and for the most part I'm just doing it for the giggles. But this time I decided not to, because that would have just put me into the water. One guy actually did go off of it, so props to him. That guy, well, tree hitting simulator striking again. And we're up into 3rd place, even after the massive pile up at the beginning. The standards in this lobby are off the charts. Fast forwarding just a bit down the road, the Ford Bronco is going to fall in a pit of sadness and lose out on the podium finish. He's gone forever, and that's where I'd end up finishing this one, but not before I take out another cobblestone wall. Back into the Mercedes Nicki Minaj for another race, and believe it or not, this is actually going to be a very clean one. Not a whole lot of crashing goes on. As you can see, around turn 1, pretty much okay. And then into turn 2, everything dies, and the DeLorean goes up and gets submarined by about 5 people. A Mercedes is off to the left, destroying yard work, and just like that, we're back to the usual Memefest shenanigans. Good stuff. Into the right-hander here, the entire front of the pack, using the meta that has been discovered from the game and just slamming directly into the wall and carrying as much speed out as we possibly can. Coming around the inclining carousel, and it looks like the road's a little wet, so we'll definitely have to keep that in mind, but we get a few passes done. Grabbed about 3 places there, up into 5th place, and then, oh my god, a Civic decides to hump me like a dog to a pillow. A sight I'll never get out of my mind. I'm probably gonna have nightmares for the next 3 months just thinking about this. And somehow, after getting frisky with a Civic, and downing basically the entire Amazon rainforest, I find myself leading the pack. We're through the first third of the race now and moving over into the hypercars. That means the 918's coming out. Love this thing, but immediately get overtaken by a Koenigsegg and then tapped wide by a Ferrari, falling down into third place. And then we've got a guy right on our tail now as well, so falling into fourth is a possibility. Brutal stuff. Looking for a move on the Koenigsegg. It really doesn't matter if we make the move or not, because this guy is going to take him out from behind. The guy is clearly intoxicated. Where the hell is the police Escalade when you need them? And I could use him now again as the Ferrari just T-bones me straight into the barrier and then leaves me there to dry. Here we go. Switching into the rally raid, and the ghost of third place apparently just pops up out of nowhere and leaves me in fourth place, so that's awesome. You might remember this part of the map from earlier in the video where I crashed a Focus into a stationary car, and well, now it's the pickup's turn. He hit it with such ferocity that it flipped over. And the poor guy that owns the white car, I mean, the car's been hit twice in one day. His insurance rates, they're gonna be through the damn roof. I hate to see it, but we're in third place, so, you know, the world's bright for us. That's all that matters. Until I Georgia the Jungle it straight into a tree that's hiding behind the damn checkpoint. And then, not 30 seconds later, I just hit a rock. Because you know what? Fuck it. Why not? Let's ruin the race. I don't want the podium anyways. Oh, and of course, to rub it in a little bit, there goes the pickup truck that just hit the damn car. And then in the end, I try to slide the car across the line. I don't have enough momentum to get me there, and then the Hummer comes and pushes me across it. If he knew I didn't cross the line, I don't think he would have tried to smash into me. But hell, I'll take the little wins where I can get them. And we hop into the Shelby for a little coastal racing action, starting this one in 9th place. Trying to look for a move around the outside of the Toyota Supra, not happening. A Mitsubishi Lancer coming back onto the track with a terrible rejoin, and that basically just kicks off mayhem. Everyone just goes into all-out war. So I'm holding the inside through this double apex turn, forcing the Corvette to go around the outside, and then this Dingleberry here in the BMW thinks he's got VIP access to ahead of me, and then I brutally murder a Ferrari for the hell of it and the giggles. That poor family. And then a couple more Dingleberries. Why am I calling everybody a Dingleberry? Anyways, those guys go on their own forest adventure, and I'm up into 10th place, putting on the boost and immediately gaining 5 positions out of it, up into 5th place. Not a bad deal, except for the fact that the guys behind me realized they had boost too, and then quickly regained those positions. I'll grab a couple of them back though, because the Porsche hits a tree, I punt him backwards, and then get overtaken by a Supra, and then not 5 seconds later, this guy absolutely sticks the landing from what I can only assume is pulling a George of the Jungle as well off a tree, climbing 100 feet in the air, and then landing on his backside. Incredibly well done. If I had to rate that landing, it'd be a 10 out of 10. Later on this race, we hop into the roof and get passed by a Jeep. We're heading into a very sharp left-hander, which is a great overtaking opportunity. So here we go. 1, 2, 3 racing gods, and 1 high IQ scholar just sends it into the tree. And after all of that, racing resumes pretty much unchanged. I'm still looking for a move on the Jeep and now this GTR, which does eventually come. And other than that, nothing else really happened that race, so that's where we'll end it. And you might have noticed, I have yet to win a race. My God, have I been sucking ass or what? Maybe we can change it in this one. I'm starting on pole position, so it's a good start. Second place seems to have gotten a really good launch though. Luckily, I do get a bit of a bump draft from the guy behind, and I'm saving up all of that nitrous for a little later on down the highway. Normally I'd skip the whole highway thing just because nothing usually goes on and it's just terribly boring, but we actually have a really nice battle here as I'm trying to find my way up the inside. We're touching wheels. In real life, our cars would have been absolutely destroyed by now. Somehow, I do eventually get the move done and we get first place back. Further down the road, the guys from behind catch back up, and it doesn't end well for me. The guy on the inside taps me wide. I'm off into the grass, nearly hitting the tree, but getting just enough traction to get me back onto the road. and I'm dropping positions like flies down into 8th place, but some guy hits the barrier to the highway. That gives me a couple positions, and then all of a sudden I got a bull's ass in my face. I assure you that is never a good spot to be in. This corner I actually take very well and fly by 2nd place on our way towards catching up to the leader now and switching into the good old trusty Shelby. And it wasn't long before the leader made a big mistake. So around this right-hander, cutting the track, we look ahead to the leader running into a tree at such a precise angle that he was teleported into a different dimension, possibly Tree World, which is Sea World, but it's Tree World. And the trainers don't brutally abuse the trees. Stupid fucking comment. Stupid comment. Can you tell we're getting close to the end of the video? So anyways, this BMW got past us. Not for long. What an idiot. See you later. We're on our way to a 1st place. But a little later on, we meet our next challenger, and he is in whatever the hell that thing is. It looks like a cross between a Lamborghini, a McLaren, and an F1 car if they all had some weird love child. But around this left-hander, I'm going to go wide, which gives him the opportunity to extend that gap. A little later, he does the same thing around the right-hander, which invites me right back up onto the back of him. All the while, the guys behind have been slowly gaining on us. So 3rd place is going to stick his nose where the sun don't shine. I'm not having that, closing that door right away, and then they go sliding off into the dark forest, never to be seen again. It's officially a battle between myself and the weird hypercar love child who carries way too much speed into the 2nd to last corner, and around the final, I've got 1st place, putting on the nitrous and crossing the line finally. Finally, we get to have a shoey in the last race of the video, and this guy gets to do his interpretive dance. So that is gonna wrap things up for us, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, do all the stuff that the YouTubers usually tell you to do at the ends of videos, and I'll talk to you soon. Alrighty, bye everybody.